Hi everybody, Jerry here. Welcome back. Tonight I am going to be fishing with needlefish and teasers. So it's a needle and teaser combo. It's almost like working a tandem fly combo in my mind. I like to transpose a lot of fishing theory, back and forth, different things, size it up, size it down, freshwater, saltwater, ocean, but that's what I like to do. And but I'm going to be working with needlefish tonight. That's what I want to do. I'm going to talk about them just a little bit, and we will be seeing these again. This is not the first and last time I'm using them, but definitely one of my funnest favorite lures to use with the teaser. And I am going to be exclusively working with a black and purple bucktail teaser tonight too. This is going to be the tip. So let's check out the needles, see what it can do, where it places my teaser, and we'll talk a little bit about them, and hopefully there'll be some fish. All right, let's get out and let's get fishing. Okay, got down to the beach and we hooked up, and I'm using a lighter needlefish than I started with. He's got to be a bass. There he is. Whoa, flat surf. And we took the teaser. Surprise me, but the needle I'm using is working this in the zone, so that's a good sign. There are fish around. Maybe we'll get some more. Let me let this guy on his way, and hopefully this is not the end of the night. Healthy fish. Okay, I'm going to turn off the lamp. There it goes. So the bite's slow, so let me just show you how I'm set up here and a couple of things. Right now, this is a lighter super strike. I picked this because it's a relatively calm surf and not too much current, a lot of backwash, so hanging in there nicely. When I'm working them, it's an up-down motion, and what I want to do is I wanted to get it to a nice dance with my teaser, which is pretty much so what I'm expecting to get most of the fish on. Show you something real quick as well. If you tie a line-to-line surgeon's knot, sometimes I prefer them because it kind of arcs your line up on your teaser and keeps it up out of the way. If you do a dropper or surgeons, a lot of times that teaser hangs down low. This it almost arcs up. You can't see it now because of the weight of the teaser, but it kind of arcs up with a surgeon's knot line to line. One of those strands is going to curve up, and it gives you, sometimes it gives your teaser a little more life and keeps it away from your line. But that's generally how I'm set up now. And I'll show you a couple other needles that I would throw. He's on. I think he's a little, not the same size or a little bigger. He's a little bigger. He took the teaser too. Be cookie color. I don't know if that was a follow-up, but it's about a solid 26. It's a nice fish. Real quick, one neat thing, how I like to cast and retrieve and where I'm casting and retrieving. I know that there's a fairly narrow sandbar out there. So I'm actually a lot of times casting over that sandbar, and I'm working it on the outside. And that's where I'm getting those fish that were further out. Then when you're working the needle in, it's almost like you're snagged, but you're not, because it's still coming in rather easy. You're going through sand. You hit the sandbar, and all of a sudden that needle's going to free up, and you're back in deeper water. And I'll slow my retrieve down again. And you work these I work these relatively slow. Tonight, I will work them fast sometimes on an aggressive high water bite. The faster you work them, the higher they ride. The slower you work them, the lower they ride. Just like a bucktail. But that's how I work them on the bar. If I'm working parallel to the shore, keep the rod tip high and just bring it up and drop, up and drop, up and drop. And you can even just let the thing sit there. A lot of times the fish, that current's going to give this a lot of motion. It's almost like working with a fly, a tandem fly rig almost. That's really all we're doing. But that's the basic nuts and bolts of what I'm doing tonight. Okay, hooked up now. He feels about the same size, maybe a little, he's a little bigger. He's definitely a little bigger. Hopefully we get him in. He was a bit out. I'm gonna definitely probably pick up more fish without the lights, but it seems to be a fair night, and there's enough fish too. So he's coming in now. Wow, look at him. There he is. Oh, he got off. He was definitely a little bigger. Definitely a little bit bigger. All right, maybe we can stick another. Real quick, there are, of course, different types of needlefish, and this is the one I chose mostly for tonight. It's a slower sinker, I guess higher riding, but it's going to sink enough. My goal is to fish my needlefishes. I want it to go to the bottom somewhat, but I don't want it to stay down there. I want it to come up when I crank my rod, and then when I stop cranking, it'll go back down. That's the goal. So if you got a slow moving sweep current, shallower water, I like to go lighter. They're all different kinds. This one is a heavier needle. I would use this in swifter current, deeper water, depending on where you want to put them. You can work them faster and higher, or lighter and slower. You can do a lot with these. This guy here, he pretty much, so he's rides very high, but he does drop fast. But when you crank, he comes right up. Here's another style. This is a bullet style, made to cut into windy winds, kind of like really packs a punch in there. It's like a stubby needlefish. Great to cast, drops real quick, almost like a jig. That's a moderately heavy one. Of course, you got different colors. And also, you have these here weighted SP minnows, the bullets, I think, that whatever they call them. And these are pretty much, these are needlefish. That's what they are. So if you have one of these heavier sinking needles, the Deo SP minnow, the heavy sinking one, that's a needlefish, believe it or not. So they come in different size, shape, styles. It's almost a form of fishing, and I like to compare it a lot to fly fishing. So that's what they do. But this is the guy I'm going to go with tonight. Mostly, I'll see how the current comes, changes, goes, and whatnot, but I feel comfortable with this. And I use them primarily to present a teaser. Everything I do, I'm presenting a fly. So that's one of the ways I fish, one of my styles. So, all right, let's get out there. So I just set next cast in, I followed up. He feels maybe close to the same size. Sorry about the light. It's hard, I gotta keep an eye on the rod tip. That's why it looks funny sometimes. I'm still trying to get light in your field of view. So I apologize if we come in and out. My bigger light actually died on me, so I'm using a smaller one tonight. And hopefully this guy we get a good view of. Okay, here he is. And he took the teaser. We're about the same size. All seem to be at 26-inch range. Well, looks like they might be getting it. Surf's coming up. Hopefully he gets one. The tide is coming in, so we have a chance. Hopefully some bigger fish. And this is what I've been all taking the blurple teaser. It's just deer here. I'll do a video on that. So let me get him on his way. And maybe he'll get it on his own. He just about has it. Probably could have had another by now if I was serious. But we're just having fun. That's what it's all about. Having fun. Alright. Some real quick, there's a whole bunch of ways to work it, but the whole idea of a needle is they either, some of them will float, some of them drop real slow, and some of them drop real fast. The secret to, well, what I do, you can do anything you want, but what I do when I pick a needle to work a teaser is I find something that has, if I want it to work the bottom, which I'm doing now, I find a needle that will moderately drop so I could barely feel the bottom, and on crank it comes up. So you want that needle to sink, and if you're working it low, and then you bring it up, and it's just going to sink again. In concept, I guess it's almost like working your bucktails and stuff, except we got our bucktail up here, and it's a great way to present the lure. So in a heavy ripping surf, I would use a heavier needlefish. In a ripping current, heavier needlefish. Slow, moderate, very slow. Like today, the surf is pretty mild. Not too much breaking waves. Just breaking at the lip, very slow. Pick this needle, just barely get me down. If it comes up, you might have to use a heavier needle to work the bottom. If you work the top, of course, you can work a lighter needle. But that's like the basic concept is, you don't want to bring it in and feel it drag sand along the whole way. You will catch fish, but that's how I work them. Like I said, you can do anything you want with them. It's that's the fun part, and probably will get bigger fish on them. So basically, that's how I work. All right, everybody, I'm going to be going here. I cannot complain, not a bad night. The fishing is just getting started. I wanted to work needlefish tonight, and that's what I did, and teasers, of course. Got a few fish, missed a fish, the big fish. It was definitely the biggest one. He was taking a drag. It's a great way to tell your line is good, and you're not going to break off. If you get that big fish, so that's good. Good line. But fishing hopefully is going to be ramping up. The bass are just starting to relate to the beach, as you can see. I heard of a few other bigger fish around here and there, but so hopefully things are going to be getting in gear. We are definitely going to be using this again, probably tomorrow or today. We'll see. But I love these things. But thanks for watching. Please like, dislike, comment, subscribe to the channel or not. I really don't care. And remember always, fish your way. And have a good night, or good morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks again for watching. You'd be surprised. They're not too scared of lights. I've had them swim around my legs with the lights on at nights, but it does scatter them for the most part.